Well, the judge in the Alex Murdaugh murder trial has ruled that prosecutors can present evidence that the former lawyer charged with killing his wife and son allegedly stole money. But Murdaugh's lawyer says that it's absurd and suggests that that this is linked to the murders, or this. Well, actually, let's get Scott MacFarlane to give us a little bit more.
Just hours before his wife and son were murdered in June 2021, Alex Murdaugh, the now disbarred attorney in a storied family, was, according to testimony, confronted about missing money.
We made him resign.
Jeannie Seckinger, the chief financial officer of Murdaugh's firm, testified Thursday nearly $750,000 were unaccounted for and were supposed to have been handed over to the firm after a legal settlement.
I told him that I had reason to believe that he had received the funds himself and that I needed proof that he had not.
Received those fees himself?
Yes.
And I needed proof that they're not?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
He told me again that he assured me that the money was there and that he could get it.
However, the jury hasn't heard this allegation yet. The judge is yet to rule on its admissibility. Prosecutors argued in opening statements Murdaugh killed his wife and son to divert attention from the impending storm of financial crimes. The defense maintains Murdaugh had no reason to kill his family. Jurors have seen and heard a series of other allegations in testimony this week, including from a Murdaugh family friend who identified Alex Murdaugh's voice in a video recorded by Murdaugh's son. Prosecutors say it was recorded here, minutes before the murder. Prosecutors also showed a social media video they say indicates Alex Murdaugh was wearing clothes shortly before the murder, different than the freshly clean clothes officers saw him wearing when they arrived. This trial is expected to last several weeks. Murdaugh is also accused of a series of financial crimes, but his name is not on the witness list for the defense. Janet, Anne-Marie.
Scott, thank you very much. Imran Ansari is here with us in Studio 57 to offer analysis on this case. He is a criminal defense attorney, a civil litigator, and a former prosecutor, as well as anchor on the Law and Crime Network. Imran, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So prosecutors are saying that Alex Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes are evidence of a motive for killing his wife and son. What's behind that?
Yeah. You have to remember the prosecution doesn't have to prove motive in a case. It's not an element of the crime. But juries love to hear motive. They want to know the how, what, when, and why. And as the why, which is the motive, prosecutors are saying the financial crimes that Alex Murdaugh is accused of is the motive why he allegedly killed his wife and his son. They say he did it to gain some sympathy and distract from those crimes. And it's actually going to be some strong evidence if the judge allows it in.
It seems like an extreme choice. What the prosecution is asserting to sort of distract people from a financial crime. What's the defense saying?
The defense is saying that this evidence should not be allowed in because it's more prejudicial rather than probative for the prosecution. And again, that's because the financial element is not an element of the crimes charged, so they don't have to prove any financial crime. And they're saying that the jury may focus in on those financial crimes which are not part of this murder case.
Right.
And that's going to be prejudicial to Alex Murdaugh.
But did the prosecution provide any evidence, or did they just sort of put out this assertion? Oh, he was facing these other crimes, so he wanted a distraction. Or did they say, we know that these are linked because?
Right. Well, that's why they want to get it in. They want to get that in to show the motive. Because you're wondering, Alex Murdaugh, he had a whole slew of legal trouble surrounding him. Yeah. The backstory to this trial is really incredible. But, you have to look at it. And you said it's an extreme choice, right? If you're trying to gain sympathy or distraction from these financial crimes, to kill your wife and your son is really an extreme choice. The prosecution really needs to paint that picture to the jury. It's a circumstantial case. There's no direct evidence. They need to connect the dots. And I think the jury is going to wonder why Alex Murdaugh allegedly killed his wife and son.
I want to talk about this recording that came out, and two witnesses said they were 100% certain that they heard Alex Murdaugh's voice on that recording. And could you walk us through what that recording is and why the prosecution thinks it's evidence of his being at the scene?
Sure. So, we're week one in this trial in terms of the evidence being put forth before this jury. And I think this is arguably the strongest evidence the prosecution has put forth before this jury. And it's these two Snapchat, these videos that came from Paul Murdaugh, that's the deceased son, his phone. Why is it important and why is it relevant to this case? Well, Alex Murdaugh repeatedly told law enforcement that he wasn't near the kennels, right? That was the site of the crime, of the murders. However, these videos place him in that area. You hear his voice apparently on these videos, these Snapchats from the son's phone. And the testimony that we heard in court was that it was 100% Alex Murdaugh's voice. So that really calls his alibi into question. It calls his credibility into question. I think arguably this is the strongest evidence the prosecution has put forth so far.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting from the witness that he didn't say, yeah, that was him. He said 100% certain that was him,
Right.
you know? So there's another video, too, showing Alex Murdaugh's son laughing, the two at a birthday party. You know, how important is that video? What does it show?
Yeah, so this video was also offered by the prosecution, right? And you may be wondering, why do they want to show that? It seems like they're having a great family relationship. They're laughing. They're having fun. I think that they're putting that forth because it shows him in a different set of clothing, right? So police arrive later. He's in a different set of clothing. The defense have argued that there's no evidence of blood or any dirt or anything like that on his clothing. This video, taken just a short time before the alleged murders or the murders, show him in a different set of clothing, right? It also shows that there's a friendly, familiar relationship. So arguably, the prosecution say, listen, these individuals, Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, they knew their killer. So there was no struggle. They didn't know it was coming. Also, it does give the defense something to work with, however, because they will then argue, well, look at this family relationship. There is no motive or there's no reason why Alex Murdaugh would kill his family members like this.
This is already a fascinating case, and we're just a week into the trial. Imran Ansari, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.